Brought to you by Alpha Insurance, Al Smith Agency. For all your home, auto, and life insurance needs, call Al Smith at 706-529-6786. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the 6th annual Northwest Georgia High School Football Trophy Presentation Award Show, coaches and players. I am your host for the evening, Mr. Lawrence. It will be my co-host and also Mr. Paul Cavan. So we're in for a special treat. We got a lot of good coaches and good players to recognize tonight to add to a long list of great coaches and players that we've had over the past 5 years. Guys?
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
Go ahead. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting night. We're going to name our top 5 in each category. A lot of great coaches and players left off. But, man, we have a ton of talent here in Northwest Georgia.
Yeah. It's been cool to watch this thing grow over the years. Of course, I was a fan of yours early on, Lawrence, and watching and keeping up with it. I've got more and more involved the last 2 or 3 years, and this year been more involved than I ever have. And been able to get out and go to some camps and some 7-on-7s this summer. I really expanded my knowledge more than I ever have this year as far as teams all around the area. So I'm excited to be a part of it this year. And, there's going to be 2 winners tonight, one player of the year and one coach of the year. But, that doesn't take away from anybody else. Everybody in this area has had a great year and a great season. All the nominees are well deserving.
Absolutely. Like I said, you can watch us live on Twitter, or you can join us on Facebook and on YouTube and get your comments live on the air. We'll get some of those comments on there as we go.
Lawrence, before we get started, can you give us kind of a breakdown of how these are selected?
Yeah, it's 1/3 fan vote. We opened the fan voting up. We had about 12,000 votes this year. 1/3 panel vote. Our panel vote includes people in sports media from anywhere from Heard County up to Dade over to Fannin. I mean, pretty wide area. And then 1/3 vote from us guys here. I mean, and then we break it up and figure the percentages and come up with a winner.
All right. Want to jump into the coaches?
Yeah, we'll jump right to it here. Like I said, that's a formula breakdown: 1/3 viewer, 1/3 panel, 1/3 Northwest Georgia football staff. And I will say, before we reveal the coaches here, that this is absolutely the closest contest as far as coaches go we've had. The winner had 16.55%. Second place was 16.1%. And third place was 15.95%. You can't get much closer than that.
A lot of great coaches in this area.
And a little coach of the year history: Biff Parsons in 18, Preston Pogue in 19, Chad Cheatham in 20, Scott Peavy in 21, Jamie Abrams in 22. Great list of coaches there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And our 5th place finisher, a guy that won a state championship last year, is in the semifinals again this year. Rich Finley, Bowden Red Devils.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This guy deserves any and every award he can get. Bowden had kind of been a little down for a few years before he got there, and since he's got there, man, they have done nothing but rise to the top. I kind of know a little bit about his mentality. I know he's a big weight room guy. They put in the work down there in Bowden, and Coach Finley and the Red Devils deserve all the success that they're having right now.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I think Coach Finley has got that program, sustained right now, at a high level.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet Coach Finley last summer for the first time and talked to him down at Coosa High School. And to me, he is a great example of what a small town high school football coach should be. I mean, he's bringing kids to camp. He stands up for every kid he's got down there in the program. I don't care if you're 5'5", 120 or 6'5", 220, man, he treats you the same. And if you're a college recruiter or even an employer, man, looking to hire a Bowden football player, you're getting a hard-working, tough kid.
Yep.
Our fourth place finisher, man, a coach for a team that everybody thought was going to be down this year. Connor Foster, Cartersville Purple Hurricanes.
Yeah, again, and we're going to say this about every person we talk about tonight. Well deserved. A lot of people thought Cartersville might be down a little bit this year, which down for Cartersville might not be the same as down for some other teams, but he's got those guys playing some really, really good football, and they've had a great season, and Coach Foster deserves once again, he deserves all the credit he can get.
Yeah, we talked about it in the beginning of the year. We didn't see a lot of the 5-star names, the big names on that roster. But guess what? They're sturdy across because they're still playing, and it's after Thanksgiving. So you got to give it to Coach Foster for having those Hurricanes ready.
Yeah, they finished 10-0 in that 7-5A, which we saw all season long was a knockdown, drag out, a couple of come from behind wins. Just an outstanding job by Coach Foster there at Cartersville.
Yeah.
Third place guy. He was our fan vote winner. He won the fan vote portion of the contest. Coach Cudd of the Daresville Tigers. I mean, if you know anything about Daresville, that community shows up, man, when it comes to anything voting.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They're real passionate about their sports and their football over there. You can see on Twitter, they're always supporting their kids and their coaches. Great fan support. Obviously, turned out the vote this year. Another good season for Coach Cudd, coming off of that region championship last year, and they lost some really big contributors off last year's team, and we're still able to put together another great season this year. So congratulations to Coach Cudd.
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing for you to win a fan vote as a coach. That lets you know that you've got everybody in your program behind you, parents included. And, oftentimes you see a lot of battles between parents and coaches, but in this situation, it looks like Coach Cudd's got to go in his direction.
Yeah, he finished second last year in our contest, third this year, so he has a respect of the Northwest Georgia football community for sure. I know talking to his peers, man, they all respect him. Back-to-back region championships there to Daresville for the first time since 2001. 5 straight trips to the playoffs for the Tigers. Last time they went 6 was 1973. So the Tigers have it going in the right direction right now. And Coach Cudd, big part of that.
Absolutely.
Our runner-up, man. Somebody has to be runner-up. Like I said, they lost by 0.4%. And this fella had a heck of a year. Sean Patrick, Tryon Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Coach Patrick's once again trying with a great season this year. Started off 10-0, region champs. First time they'd been 10-0 in close to 50 years. First time they'd been region champs, I think, in 20 years. Got another round 1 playoff win and lost a heartbreaker by 1 point in round 2. And, Patrick's, same way. He's came here to Tryon, and I think his first season, they were 3-7 in that COVID year. But since then, I think they've been 10-2, 9-3, and 11-1. So impressive job by Coach Patrick, and he definitely deserves credit for the job he's done for the Tryon Bulldogs.
Yeah, he totally deserves the credit. You named off the record there. I just watched him on the sideline and appreciate the fire and the intensity that he has. He can get after a kid and he can get with a kid. What I mean by that is, he can give them a little chest bump or whatnot if they do, get a sack and come off the field. And he seems like a player's coach, but yet no nonsense kind of guy. So well deserving to be placed here.
Yeah, Paul hit on a couple of things that he accomplished, there at Trine. 10-0 this year, region champs for the first time since 2003. Most points scored in a season since 2003, and 3 trips to the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 1981.
There you go.
And like I said, I've gotten to meet him a couple of times, and he's always been good to us, man. Just a swell fella. And the 2023 NWGA Football Coach of the Year goes to Umbra Brown, Central Lions.
Yeah, what a year for those guys. Coach Brown came in there, and Central just they went on a tear. 10-0 regular season, region champs, make it to the third round of playoffs, and similar to Trine, they lost a heartbreaker the other night on the last play of the game. But super good job by Coach Brown coming in and getting Central to 12-0, and then just coming within a couple seconds of getting to the semifinals.
Yeah. I saw a statement that Coach Brown made on Twitter, after a little bit after their heartbreaking loss on Friday night. And that just epitomizes what kind of coach he is. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me reciting it, so I'm going to. He says, to say that I'm proud of these kids, coaches, and community would be an understatement. Came up just short, but if you think we're going to walk around with our head down, you have mistaken greatly. That is not in our DNA. We are not going anywhere. Go Lions. And, that's a coach that I'd like to play for. And I agree with him. I don't think they're going anywhere for the next couple of years for sure.
Yeah, they're in good hands down there at Central with Coach Brown.
Yeah, and just some of the things that he accomplished this year, 10-0 record, first region title since 2014, only their second region title since 1987, most wins in a season since 1987, and most points scored in a season by the Lions, period, 513 points this year. He was part of our program last year. I know he finished in the final 10 last year. His first year coaching last year was at Paulding County. He took them to the playoffs for the first time in about 10 years, moved over to the Lions this year. Outstanding job. Umbra Brown, 2023 NWGA Football Coach of the Year.
Congratulations. Yep. What a list.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
All righty.
Yeah, we'll move into the player portion. 2023 Player of the Year Award. Here's a list of our former winners over the last 5 years. Jemias Griffin from Rome. Currently playing for the Ole Miss Rebels. Jamar Gibbs, you guys might know him. He's up at Detroit Lions right now. Luke Holloway, 2020 from Fannin. Clay Hyatt, Haralson County, 2021. And our last year's winner, Seth Griffin from North Murray. Heck of a list.
A heck of a list. And I tell you what, if you look at some of the names that finished, second, third in some of those years, they were pretty good football players, and a lot of those guys are still doing some great things right now as well.
Yeah, a bunch of studs in this top 5 every year.
Yeah, so we'll jump right into number 5, man. A fella that might not have the overall stats that some of the other guys on the list that didn't make it have, but he's been a heck of a player for his team this year. Jordan Beasley, Bowden Red Devils. 1,200 yards during the regular season, only had 110 touches, averaged 10 yards a touch, 14 touchdowns. Like I said, if you've ever seen this guy's film, man, he's a football player.
Yeah, absolutely he is. And he's part of that two-headed rushing attack down there at Bowden. And I believe they put up about 500 yards rushing Friday night in the win versus Dooley County. Once again, we talked about it with Coach Finley, Bowden Red Devils, that whole roster, those guys are playing great football. What a season by Jordan Beasley there. And I know they're practicing this week and looking forward to that semifinal matchup this Friday night. So congratulations to Jordan Beasley, and good luck this Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and as far as stats go, the stats we compiled were just during the regular season. But this guy has had a heck of a postseason. I know a couple of weeks ago he made a a stop at the 1-inch line to save the game. Paul just mentioned he had over 200 yards this past Friday night in the quarterfinal. Just an absolute dude on both sides of the ball for the Red Devils.
Yep.
Number four is a fella that arguably was the best player on both sides of the ball this year for his team.
Mr. Do It All.
Mr. Judson Petty.
Oh, yeah.
He set a state record earlier in the year of most receiving yards in a game. Kid had 27 touchdowns, passed for a touchdown, received a touchdown, rushed for a touchdown this year, had 3 touchdowns on defense, averaged 10 tackles a game. Mr. Do It All.
Yeah, he's for sure Mr. Do It All. And man, so I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from what he does on the defensive side of the ball. He's great over there too. But man, those receiving yards this year, catches, yards, touchdowns, man, that's just some unbelievable stuff. And Judson Petty deserves all the accolades and all the attention he can get. And I was just so impressed keeping up with him this season. Great kid, great athlete, and very well deserving to be in this top 5.
Yeah, like I said, man, the top 3 here were so close. I mean, all 3 of these guys in the top 3 came right down to the wire. Can't argue with any one of them. Third place, Kyler McGrin, Bowden Red Devils. 2,700 total yards, 38 touchdowns in the regular season, scored 7 touchdowns in the region championship versus Mount Zion. I saw a stat today, man, where, counting the playoffs, he's up to 3,800 yards with 52 touchdowns. Absolute ball player.
Yeah. I mean, once again, we talked about Beasley just a few minutes ago, having Bowden with 2 guys here in the top 5. How impressive is that? And McGrin can do it with his arms and his legs. And he's done it all year long, and he's still doing it and going to have an opportunity to do it again this Friday night. Some of those numbers that you mentioned there, Lawrence, I think here through regular season and into the playoffs, man, those are some eye-popping numbers. And just an excellent football player. And once again, congratulations to Kyler McGrin, and good luck this coming Friday night.
It just shows you how valuable those 2 players are for both of them to get enough votes to get into this top 5. You would have to expect that, voting was split from the Bowden area. So somebody else had to vote for them as well. And, you can't go wrong with any of these guys, but McGrin, man, he was special.
Yeah, I've actually talked to a couple of coaches this year that faced Kyler McGrin, and they said he's probably the best player they've seen on the field in 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
That's unbelievable talent.
That's one thing that we don't really probably talk about enough is this list started with, I think, 20 players. And I think there were several teams with 2 guys on that list, and that makes it difficult to win this award. And for Bowden to have 2 guys to get enough votes to finish in the top 5, that's impressive.
Yeah, we saw it last year with Cedartown. They had a couple of guys that finished in the top, 7, but I mean they split the votes. And like I said, I know Rome had a few this year, Cass had a few this year. Impressive feat for the Bowden Red Devils there. Second place, man. Runner-up. We have a great list of runner-ups here. Some of the history of runner-ups in the Northwest Georgia football contest. Marcus Smith from Rockmart. Fella you guys might know, Ladd McConkey. He was a 2019 runner-up. 2020, Nunu Watley doing big things up at Tennessee Chattanooga this year.
Yep.
Rob Brown, absolute stud from Tryon. And Chris Roper up at Dartmouth. Freshman up at Dartmouth this season. Yeah,
what a list that is right there.
So, yeah, our 2023 runner-up, whose name will be put on this list forever, is Reese Fountain, Rome Wolves. 2,140 yards passing, 34 touchdowns in the regular season. Outstanding career for the Rome Wolves, all-time passing leader, touchdown leader.
Yeah, I mean, just what a great football player. It's been so fun to watch and follow Reese over the last 4 years. And again, he's another one of those players that he had 1 or 2 other players from Rome in that final 20. So lot of votes maybe being split up between those three. But man, Reese has been so fun to watch. Watched a lot of that game on the NFHS the other night, man, and all time records for Reese at Rome, and man, I really want to point out too that if you gave a 4-year award, this guy would win it hands down. I mean, what a 4-year career at Rome, and looking forward to seeing what he does in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you said there. The sentiments about the a 4-year award would definitely go to Reese. But hey, as we've seen by the list, man, to make the top 5 is tough. So to be second is definitely a an award in itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And as we move to the number 1 first place, this fella captured all 3 categories, man. He won first place in the fan vote, he won first place in the panel vote, and won first place in our vote. The 2023 NWGA Football Player of the Year goes to Toby Maddox, Trine Bulldogs.
Wow.
Toby, 2,000 yards in the regular season, 35 touchdowns. I think he got my vote. When we were voting for what he did in that region championship game. With 17 total tackles, close to 300 yards. I think he probably meant more to his team than any of the other guys in the top 20.
Yeah, and he didn't have to split any votes with anybody. Number one, number two. One thing that I've noticed in a lot of these over the years, looking back at some of the guys that finished in the top 2 or 3 and even winners, is it seems like a lot of the voters tend to vote for guys that play on both sides of the ball. And I think that helps Toby some too. He had a bunch of offensive stats as well. I mean, I think I saw something where this year between his rushing yards and receiving yards and everything, he had 40 total TDs for the entire year and 12.34 yards per touch. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure it gets much better than 12.34 yards per touch.
I watched a good bit of his games, a good many of his games, and a good many live. And the only thing that I didn't see him touch was the sideline, because that kid was out there. He was out there, whether it was a return. He's a do it all kind of back, and he'll be missed by the Bulldogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. Just seeing him in that playoff game versus Elbert County. I mean, that single back offense that Tryon was running. I mean, everybody on the field knew he was getting the ball. He still put up 370 yards in that loss. Super impressive against a great team. Tough kid, 2-time state champion wrestler. I'm sure he'll make it 3 times this fall, winter, whatever it is. But yeah, congratulations, Toby Maddox.
Congratulations, Toby. Congratulations to everybody.
Yeah, like I said, there was about 20 guys on the list when we started, and 15 of them we didn't name, man. But there's some great players on that list that we didn't mention. So Kobe White from Cass is the first one that comes to my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good gracious, man. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, to see all the talent that comes from this area. You know what I mean? And it's fun to watch. And I appreciate you guys for letting me be a little more involved this year. And I have really, really learned a lot. Got to get to know a lot of the players, coaches, and teams a whole lot better in this area over the last couple of years, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the teams remaining in the playoffs can do. Maybe they can bring a championship back home to Northwest Georgia. And I'm excited to get the ball rolling toward next year after that's over with.
Yeah, and we have some hardware for these two fellas. If y'all let us know when your banquet is, your football award show is, we'll be more than happy to come out and present the trophy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's our award show until 2024. Thanks for everybody for joining this year. We'll see you back next Friday night for the semifinal wrap-up show.
Sounds good.